All right. Hopefully you all can see the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Perfect. So, just been extremely bullish day. In fact, one of the liquidity just got delivered to, right? Here in NASDAQ that I was tracking. There's just a lot of, you see this engineered liquidity here at this level.
Yes.
And that just got purged in the macro that we are in. And ES is also getting there, right? So, there were here in liquidity pool here as well, 6090. So let's just first talk about the macro, right? And how did this setup pan out? Because, every day is different. The setups are different. We just need to understand to identify that, right? So if we go to ES, and if I draw a fib from here to here, this was the equilibrium. This was the equilibrium fair value gap. It just touched. This is all pre-macro, right? So you always need to be aware of the context, right, as to what's there pre-macro. So this range, high to low, tap the equilibrium fair value gap, clear liquidity pools, right? So do I expect price to, in macro to come and necessarily go up again? No, right? Because we have the context. Liquidity pool here got traded to the premium already pre-macro, right? And then the macro started. Not only this, similarly, I think this is close to the tick, right? For NQ, got to the premium or just at about equilibrium and then started to fall, and there was a clear liquidity pool here, right? So what we were looking for obviously was a macro short setup, right, to deliver to the clear liquidity pool. All right. So this just panned out, and in fact, other than that, obviously very, very choppy kind of a day, and very typical of, I would say, um, Thursday for an NFP week, right? The price action generally gets very, very choppy. I think we're all waiting for the report tomorrow. Tomorrow can be a big day, right? And it could be actually in either direction, because the long-term bias is very bullish, right? And so we need to obviously look at all that and see, so in terms of what the higher level charts are. But this is how the macro played out here. Before I get to the longer time frame chart, any questions in particular about this macro 150?
I think an SMT formed.
Yeah, there was SMT. You mean right now at the bottom?
Right. With
Yeah,
ES.
there is an SMT. However, I'm going to be wary of taking a trade right now because there's just tons of liquidity here, right? So for
Right.
me, the better trade would be only once this gets purged, right? Otherwise, I'll let any trade pass. This was a good trade in this direction to attack the liquidity but since this has already been done for NQ, I am going to wait for the reversal, but only after this liquidity to purchase. Otherwise, it's better just to stay away, right? Because it can go either way. And what's the point, right, when we don't really see a clear sort of all the rules align, right? Or everything in our favor in the direction of the trade. But yeah, this was the trade. Okay. Now let's just talk about quickly the longer time frame. So again, this has been absolutely crazy bullish, right? Last few days, and that sort of happened after this particular thing was reclaimed after all this back and forth, right? You see how the price engaged, and with this candle, there was a very clear bullish this thing, and now this thing can keep on going high, right? So I don't want to bet against it, in a day tomorrow unless obviously we see evidence, right? So overall order flow is bullish. I'll be a lot more comfortable taking the bullish trade, right? Especially if we get the setup, because the chances of that trade getting, being a success is quite high, given such a bullish order flow, right? So this is daily. Now, I also was looking at, okay, now obviously the retracement would happen, right? If the retracement happens, what are the potential logical points? So this is another engineered liquidity, right? And I'm just now on our 4-hour chart. Okay, so this is another engineered liquidity. So these are my potential. I'm just proactively identifying all the liquidity areas from where there can be a potential reversal, right? So this is one engineered liquidity, 2388. If it comes there, the other is this one. Why? Because this is a daily low. Also at the same time, this is a 4-hour low, and also at the same time, this is a 4-hour BC high, right? So lot of thing hanging around here, right? 305. So just marking it on the chart so that we know if the price comes in here, we can just be ready with a reversal trade, right? Looking at the order flow on the bullish side. Okay, so this is all I'm looking at. I'm not really over analyzing the chart at this moment, just because there's just really bullish. Okay. Okay, this is something that we drew that day. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, again, very similar story. So what we marked on a 4-hour, right? This is 439, I think. Oh no, this is 388. So let me just um, copy that here and then see what's this chart? 4-hour has come here. Oh, here. Okay, 1 hour. So 4-hour, 388. 1 hour. This one, right? The engineered liquidity, as we saw there. So this is these are all the important data points, and obviously the next one is here, which I'm just going to leave. So again, really, again, there's just not too much out there because the charts are very simple to read right now, because it's all bullish. It's trading every day. It's making all-time high, right? So no point of over analyzing it. All right. Here, this is an hour chart. So again, something that we gotta look at and just track it here. I think sooner or later the price is gonna come here, right? The engineered liquidity side, and then we'll see what happens. But if I look at the charts here, yesterday, this is some other key level, right? So this was the New York AM low. I just marked it, you're right. Just trying to identify what the liquidity levels are, even at a smaller price fractal level. So this is all what I have marked. This is PM low, this is AM low. This is all yesterday's, by the way. And similarly, this is, by the way, we have it here as well. 4-hour low, 1-hour swing low. So again, all the points that I've sort of talked about, right? So we'll see what's the price is gonna do, but kind of net a boring kind of a day, right? Um, from traders' perspective, just because it's just been one way. And for such kind of a market, all I do is to keep looking for a retracement and then a trade bullish in the direction of the order flow. In fact, this is the first trade I looked at, a quick scalp bearish trade, because there was this engineered liquidity on both, right? So it was just a matter of time before this would be taken out. So that's why. Otherwise, it's whenever there's a significant liquidity being taken, the easiest trade would be to just look at the signatures and then get on the bullish side. All right. So really, that has been the read today. But guys, any questions on what I just talked about, or any other questions
I,
as
I
well?
I have a question, Vivek.
Yeah.
How do you calculate what's engineer liquidity and what's not?
Yeah, so engineered is something like, it's just very simple, right? There's really no calculation. It's just observation, right? So why was I calling this engineered liquidity?
Yeah.
So you see, there was this low from here, right? You see this low? This
Yes.
is from yesterday, okay,
Yes.
PM. Now, in the morning, it came here, didn't purge it, right? Again, it came here, you see, made an equal low, didn't purge it at
Yes.
26. So why the market makers do this is they give idea, for a retail trader, and by retail, what I mean is a typical trader, right? For most of the, let's say, a trader who is looking at or trading support and resistance, this will be a support for them, right? So as you have more and more time elapses, right, and the price is not purging, people are going to jam their stop loss below this line, thinking that this is going to be a support, right? And that's what engineered liquidity is. And guess what? It's sooner or later they will come after it and remove and take out all those long positions, right? That's what exactly happened here, and then immediately the market reversed, right? But when this reversal happened, obviously a lot of longs were taken out, right?
Yes.
So that's what engineered liquidity is.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hey Vivek, now one of the thing is like now that market is making all-time highs almost every day, so how do you trade that? I believe from what I understand from our conversation up to today is that you wait for pullbacks and look for bullish signatures.
Yeah, that's like the highest probability trade, and
Okay.
really, I would say, quote unquote, easy trade, within the context, because the order flow is so bullish that
Yeah.
the chances of you being successful in a bullish trade is so high, right? For such kind of market environment. Now,
Okay.
uh, we'll know tomorrow, because it's a NFP day, right? That is a significant reversal is around the corner, right? So
Yeah.
can that happen? Yes, absolutely, that can happen, right? So obviously we'll have to wait for that to happen and see, what brings in, because obviously the market just cannot keep on going, right? So you need a day like an NFP or a GDP or a FOMC day kind of a thing, right, to sort of change the course. But let's say tomorrow, if everything is hunky dory, right, and again the market continues on its path, then again I'll follow the same playbook, right? Wait for the reversal and then get a line on the longer side. Okay, so that's how I think like a better way to play in this kind of a market, right?
Yeah, morning was very difficult to read. I got chopped out so many times in the morning until I was lucky to get a reversal on the top. Especially after all the consolidation, I was lucky to. I just took the order block right on the top and wrote it down, and then I was able to catch an up BPR from the second one. But but morning was very bad. Morning, I couldn't trade the morning at all. Couldn't get it right in the morning.
Sometimes the market you can very clearly see from the price action, right? That sometimes better off not even trading, right? Because why to trade? The market gives an opportunity every single second, isn't it? So sometimes when you get a feedback from the market that it's not tradable, don't trade it, don't force it. And that is what is really important, to still be on your consistency, right? To stay on your to being consistent, because if you're forcing it all the time, it's not worth it, because wait for the market to sort of get into right clean price action and then engage.
So I've got a bit of the kind of the opposite problem where I'm getting really good at finding any reason not to take a trade, which I know there's a positive side of that, but I'm to the point to where I'm really not taking trades because I'll just
well, at least I would say that this is you are trying to master the harder part, right? Which is not easy for most of the traders. So that is good, right? So you should look at it positively. However, here's what I will say. What you have to now work on. Now you have obviously work on one side of it, right? Which is about really sticking to the best of the best setups, and then pressing the trigger. But what you also mentally need to prepare yourself for is to entertain the idea of taking a loss sometimes. Okay, that is what you'll have to work on. and this part is relatively easy to work on as compared to what you've already worked on, looks like. Okay, so just allow yourself to be to make some losses, right? I mean, to because obviously when you're doing it, I would say that you're always, I can say that you always know what your risk is, right, when you're taking a trade. So within the parameters, you should be okay to say, okay, you know what, I'm taking a trade. It can be 1% of your portfolio, whatever the rule is, right? Or whatever that thing, 0.5% or whatever. Maybe there's an amount that you want to, put as a maximum amount for you to lose, right, on any given trade. You should just work yourself to allow to say, hey, you know what, one trade is not going to define my trading journey, right, or my career. I cannot be very high on a winning streak. I cannot be very low on a losing streak, right? And for that matter, just one trade. So entertain that idea, and let's say if you have 6 parameters, I'm just throwing it up, that you're looking at to get into a trade, and you have 5 of them aligned, and you feel like you've been, waiting for a trade, then you know what, just press the button, okay? And with the right risk management. So that's, perhaps you can just think about that and work on that side.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
The way price is at the moment, 1350. There was a macro FVG.
You're talking about ES or NQ?
NQ.
Okay, what time?
1350.
1350. Okay, this is 13. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that's sort of just been inverted now.
Yeah.
So is that a significant?
I mean, this is maybe significant, maybe just to run this one, right, one more time, 523 level. However, if the question is, excuse me, would I take the trade? Excuse me, I won't, just because I'm wary of the ES liquidity, right? That sooner or later the market is going to come after it, right? So I won't risk any bullish trade right now till this liquidity is taken out.
Okay, thank you.
But Vivek, even on the NQ chart, I mean, all those equal lows right before this, around 2 p.m. equal lows. Do you think that the market will come after that right now? The liquidity that's engineered around that place, or that's not really a liquidity over there?
Which one are you referring?
Right at the, right at the end. Yeah, those 4. Yeah, right there.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, these ones.
No, I mean, look, this is already taken out, isn't it? This has been.
That is already taken out. Okay.
So
yeah.
the market is. I'm not concerned about this one as
More
much
about the
as I'm
ES.
concerned about the ES one, right? So
okay.
so that's why it's not a very high probable condition to take a bullish trade right now. It would be a lot higher probability once this is taken out, and then we start to see reversal.
Okay.
So that's what I'll be waiting for. So this is really, as I was saying in the macro, this trade that I was talking about, this trade in this direction was a high probable trade. Now, if anyone would have been taken an ES trade, would they have waited for this to be purged? Not necessarily, because even when you are taking this trade, right, this was purged. Okay, this was purged. So in NQ, like from here, this was purged, right? This liquidity was purged. So that was a good bearish trade. This was purged, right? So so one could have taken the ES as well, and then now the ES is going to give one more opportunity, right, to go in this direction, right? So I guess that's how I'm looking at it right now.
Sounds good.
Vivek, could I ask you please to explain that bearish trade? What was the entry trigger? I mean, I see the FEG and the 50% of the dealing range, but I don't see what the entry was.
Yeah, so it's a good question, right? So the F1 was obviously it sort of traded into the premium. In fact, this just missed by a tick, right? And sometimes the price is just to the ticks. This just missed by a tick, right, to hit this equilibrium line. However, when I see a situation like this, I always compare, right? ES did got to this, right? To the basically equilibrium, right? FEG. Also, if you look at it, in terms of the entry trigger, when I have something like this, right? And when you start to see reversal around the corner, what you're looking at is this a continuation pattern, right? So something like this, right? So what is the continuation pattern here? The market is making a low here, and then you're expecting it to gravitate towards this direction, right? Now, specifically trigger, if I have something like this and I have a strong bias, so this is the 150, right? It started. So if you really think about it that way, at that point in time, all I waited, one could wait for is just a formation of an FVG. And the tap of this FVG, you can get onto the trade, right? Similarly,
on the retracement.
Yeah, just on the
right.
Similarly here, right?
Sure.
Just this candle tapped onto the FVG, and this could have been the trade, right, to attack this. And obviously, as I said, this would have been a quick scalp because we are in a very bullish environment. So you only want to make sure that you are looking at the engineered and then just trading this, right? So this would have been a very small from 505 to 25 points trade. However, it's points doesn't matter. What matters are obviously is the the setup, right, that we're talking about.
Sure. And the stop loss for it, would that have been above the FFG candle?
Yeah, when I trade NQ, I always give a little bit more, right? That's my preference.
Yeah,
So
I remember you saying.
I would have kept the stop loss right here.
Right.
At
Okay.
this level. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem.
That FEG also coincided with I think the 9:30 open FEG. I think the first that equilibrium point on NQ.
Okay. Yeah, I this morning, considering it was a Thursday and I had few other things, so
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the charts, to be honest. I have not been trading. I just got active because of this class. I was like, I got a little bit active starting 12:30 Central Time.
Good.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was a Thursday, so I knew that I'm not going to miss too much out anyways. And if you look at a typical NFP Thursday profile, maybe you can go and look at last 3-4 months and journal it, right? You will learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so, now it's like, if you really look at it, the market is either it can, because this is an inversion, right? Market can go this, knock this off, and then maybe potentially reverse, or it can continue going down just because of the ES thing, right? So when you have such kind of a scenario, and again, most of the time we are always presented with this kind of scenario, right? That is where just stay back and just watch, relax, and let the price come to you, right? Let the setup come to you, and then get in.
I have another question, Vivek.
Yeah.
At 11:52 on the NQ.
11:52. Okay.
Macro order block was formed.
11. Let me just get there. 11:52. Oh, this one?
Yeah.
So you mean this bullish order block?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, that's the one. And also just above it was a FEG to the right. Inside the order block, not to the right.
Oh, to the right, you mean? Oh, okay, gotcha. This one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that sort of gave me confirmation to go long.
Okay, and it was a macro, right?
Yeah, both macro. Now, when price came back and went through that, obviously that becomes support, but you are expecting price to go above that again, yeah?
At this point in time,
No, after it's purged the liquidity
here.
down below. Do you know you said when it purges the liquidity down at 21,464, do you
Okay.
expect a reversal bullish?
Sorry, I'm. Can you tell me the time of the candle that you're talking in reference here? The purge.
Sorry, all I'm trying to get at is that there now becomes a HP inversion.
This one.
Yes,
Yeah. If that's the
and
question, this is a HP inversion. Yes, absolutely.
prices bounced off that once, twice,
Yeah. So
and
yeah.
yep, it's heading towards the liquidity pool that you said is way down below at 21.4 something.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
when it gets there, you'd expect a reversal back up past that inversion, yes?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't expect anything. If the price is somewhere here, that the price is going to come there. No. What is the role of a high probability inversion? It's only that, when it became this high probability inversion, when the price comes back to it, it's gonna, you're gonna see some reaction. In this case, a bearish reaction, which you saw right here, right?
Yeah.
But that's what. But right now, after this the price comes here. Am I expecting the price to come here again? No, it has no bearing whatsoever. The price may continue to drag down, right? So this has no reference to what the price can do when it's here.
Okay.
Vivek,
But
can I
you
just, sorry.
Sorry, but you were still looking for a bullish signature.
I mean, at this point in time, when the price came here, so obviously this is like check mark one, that the
Yep.
price started to reverse from high probability inversion, which is great. I would still, for my trade, I will wait for the macro. It was very close to the macro, 150. The macros, gave, created a fair value gap, and this could have been a valid trade, as I was just talking about, right? Attacking this
Yeah.
engineered liquidity.
Oh, sorry, I must have made. I heard you wrong. I thought you said you were waiting for the bullish signature. Go bullish. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, I guess Elizabeth, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask the bullish macro order block that Steve pointed out, when that actually went, when that was when it went through that and came back up, is that then become a mitigation block that then sort of backs up your trade idea, the bearish one?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And you can also call it as inversion order block, right? So bearish order block in a way.
Right. Okay.
Bullish order block got inverted, so you have an inversion as well. So yeah, you have, all these signatures which were pointing to the same thing, that it's going to be bearish, right? And so when this happened, the equilibrium line also was tagged up right here, right? It touched it, came back, macro, FVG, bearish, attacking the sell side liquidity, right? So that's all has happened so far.
Thank you.
Hey, Vivek, when you were putting your model together, did you look at the 30 minutes past the hour? And
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just looked at 1 minute and across macro.
Right.
The problem with looking at too many charts for your trading entry would be, sometimes it may work in your favor, but many a times it won't give you the entry, the location, favorable entry location that you would otherwise get.
Actually, what I meant was 30 minutes past the hour, meaning like you have your macro 10 minutes before and after the top of the hour. I also see that there's some, not all the time, but some volatility right around the 30-minute.
Yeah, no, there is volatility. You're right. That's but there is really no model that. In fact, let me put it this way: I never really looked too deep into that kind of a model, right?
Okay.
At 30 minutes into the hour, but maybe there is something out there, right?
Right.
But I haven't really looked at it.
Okay, cool. I'll keep an eye on it. If I find anything, I'll let you know.
It'd be good to know, right? If you find something, just to look in greater detail. All right. So see here, if one would have taken this, knowing this as an inversion, a bullish trade, immediately, right, it reversed. Why did it reverse? Because this is in play right now. Okay, that's why it's so important, right? Always to be looking at both the charts. And this is something that I've been saying, right? And I'm trying to inculcate that in all of you, that no matter what you're trading, you gotta look at the other charts too.
I think I'm only just realizing that, to be honest. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is something, Steve, I have been talking about from pretty much from first lecture or live session. And that's why, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's sooner than better, right? I mean, sooner
Yeah.
than later, I guess. So
It just all seemed a bit too much initially, but I could see the relevance and the importance of doing that.
yeah, so I guess seeing is believing. As you see more, I guess you'll start to look into it, as simple as that. So, all right. So, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is where the market is right now. Tomorrow would be a very, I mean, let's see. I mean, Bitcoin, right, crossed through 100,000. It's just insane, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, BTC, and here you go, 100,581. In fact, went all the way to 103 today.
Yeah, 104 almost. They said it touched 104 today.
Okay.
Last night.
So there's a lot of vol here, and obviously very bullish. So and who knows? I mean, I have no idea till where it can go. Right? It's something that I've never ever touched. However, one thing that I was just looking the chart in detail in you know, over the weekend, this last weekend, because obviously, you know, it's getting to 100,000, it's catching my attention, and I'm just I love the volatility part of it, right? So I looked and analyzed so many charts, right? Just the way I analyze ES and NQ chart, and this guy really behaves, right? In the sense that all the principles that you've learned, you know, right from 1 minute to 5 minute to, you know, higher time frame analysis, everything works like a charm, right? So that got me thinking as to why should I not trade it. Now the problem is, I can, but again, I don't want to get distracted too much. I have started to look at gold anyways, right? So this is something that I'm not going to be trading. I've decided it's just too much of distraction for me. However, if any of you guys trade Bitcoin, analyze the chart, you know, and just trade exactly how you trade ES and NQ, and you know, it really works beautiful with the price delivery, right? That's what I like about Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, this has been on a bullish tear, and so
They have futures on Bitcoin?
yeah, there is a future.
Oh.
There is you can trade futures. In Thinkorswim, there is a future. Let me just pull it up and see what is it. I think this is called, yeah, slash BTC is the future, and it is it obviously requires quite a bit, you know, like at least the margin money that you have. I have not traded, right? Just because I think if I start to trade because of the margin money involved, I'll have to focus because every point is $25, right?
Okay.
So if you capture, let's say, 1,000 points, which is nothing, right, for a Bitcoin intraday, it's $25,000, right? So it's a serious trade, and if you
Wow.
lose it, right, it's so, you know, that's why I decided not to do it, because it will take all my attention. I'll get distracted. Margin money that's needed to trade one Bitcoin future in Thinkorswim is $197,000, right? So obviously, but just because, you know, how much it moves. So yeah. So, but to your question, there is a Bitcoin future that you
Oh,
can trade
oh
on
my
top.
God. Okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's pretty fascinating, the markets these days. So tomorrow will be sort of, you know, the way I'm going to look at tomorrow's market is it going to give us a reversal, right? you know, to take some of the sell side out, or would it still continue? And tomorrow will be a fairly important day from that perspective, right? It will obviously set the tone for next week, you know. So we'll see what it brings to us. All right. Any other questions, right? We still have some time for the next macro, so I can take questions as we are waiting. There's, you know, it's but guys, how's hopefully you all are or majority of you are seeing progress, right? With pertaining to your skills, and hopefully a lot of you are also getting funded, right? So yeah, give me a shout when you are, you know, when you're hitting milestone, when you're it could be with in terms of funded account, it could be in terms of you know, the progress you're making, right? It would be good to know. And I think there's a channel out there that you know, love to see the progress, right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still trading on a simulated account, but I think for me, the next step is to actually go live with real money and even the micros. And I'm somehow I feel I'm not, although I'm doing like 65% in simulate, 65, 70%, but I still don't have the confidence to go with real money yet. So that's where I'm struggling with. And one of the things that's missing for me is having a good trading plan. And is there something available for a development of a trading plan in terms of a course or something here on
I
FTA?
bet there is. I've heard, you know, Sterling and others talk about it, right? So,
Okay.
you know, you can look at that and
Okay.
have a trading plan. Yeah, you know, and whatever you're talking about, it's really up to you. When
Yeah.
you will know exactly when you're ready, and when you feel like you're ready, take the plunge, right? So
Got it.
it's no one else other than you who can answer that question, right? That can answer. So,
I
all
took a
right.
trade yesterday, and I think it was the best trade that I ever took, only
Okay.
because it was fluid. I was confident, and best of all, you know, it worked out. I mean, I wish I kept the run longer, but it's hard. I'm only trading with 2 micros, and I take my first target, I take off 1 micro, move the second one to break even, and let the other one go. But it was a really good trade. It was a breaker block. I put it in the student chart analysis, and I was just very ecstatic, honestly, about it. That like the system, you know, that I'm making a little bit of progress. That's all. I'm just happy that I'm making progress and not just focusing all my time on this and wondering, oh, is this going to work? Is this not going to work?
Yeah.
You know. So I'm glad
Man,
I found it.
kudos to you, Andrew. That's I can relate the feeling, right, that you would have after that. So that's just so beautiful, right? Just when you start to feel that, yeah, this can be something that's for me. This is something that I can develop, right? So you need, you know, trades like that where you are entering based on all the criterias you have, where you can read it so clearly, right? And then, you know, it works out. So congratulations. That's a really a good milestone.
Definitely, and it means a lot because I don't know about the rest of you guys, but my first couple of years, I just went through so much nonsense, just stuff from the internet, and
Same here.
it was just it was just horrible. And now this is something like I almost have a relief, almost feel a relief, like wow, this is something that I could actually develop. So I'm just grateful for that.
Oh, awesome, Andrew. I'm very happy to hear that. Really happy.
Yeah, I just started prop trading for the first time this week, and on the positive note, I've taken minimal trades. I've only taken 2 or 3 trades, and I even went in half orders, and I always have my stop loss defined. So I, even though I haven't gotten any winners, I've successfully, you know, limited my risk while I'm working on, you know, honing my skills and getting into the trades that I'm looking to get into.
Awesome. That's great. Great, Bill. I think that's a true sign of making progress. And it's just
Bef-
about, I think it's, you stick to the process, everything is
Right.
around the corner, right? All the
Yep.
success.
I'm learning all kinds of patience because I would love to understand it all now, but I know that's not a reality. I just need to give myself time to let it sink in and practice and get into a good, groove. And so that's probably the hardest part, is just the patience and letting it unfold.
Yep.
Andrew, and you should say that. I've only just noticed Sterling's short course on the psychology part of trading. That's really good. It's helped me to realize that I was my own worst enemy, making silly mistakes, not really thinking about what I was doing, revenge trading type thing. So now I'm starting to really think about what I'm doing before I do it, and then journal it and review it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Trading, there's a lot that it's really you against you, right? And that's the mental.
Yes.
But I always feel that you get better on that only when your technical skills you know improve over a period of time, and you're really learning something new. You are taking a note of that. You are making notes. You're training your eyes. All that comes along with that. And then, and again, I'm just relaying from my experience, because again, just like anyone, I have gone through that journey. I have learned the hard way. um, I've because I don't come from Wall Street. My background was all in different industry altogether. I never really had a mentor that I can, and I always missed that. Man, I wish I only had one, and somehow I was not lucky to find the right one. It took me a lot of time. So, and as I was talking about, I think in the last session, that there was a lot of emphasis I placed on the reading some of these psychology books and so on. And then I realized that yes, the psychology is great. One needs to be strong mentally, but then I was able to improve that side only with improvement of my technical skills, right? And that was the takeaway for me. So I always say they always go hand in hand. I haven't really seen a trader who will say that, man, I'm so great at the psychology part. And by the way, I have seen that argument made in this industry, right? Trading side. That, man, I mean, no matter how you trade, or your irrespective of your technical skills, if you really are very strong mentally, you will end up making money. And I have a hard time digesting that, right? From my experience. So I'll say psychology is a must, but then equally important is really the core technical skills, the technical analysis that you do. And when you find both of it working for you, then that's when the magic happens, right? That's again just a little bit from my experience.
Thank you.
So it is getting here. The question really is that how long would it take time to get here? And this is the time when it's just about hands off, wait, and let it first finish the business. So we have 2 minutes to macro. Yeah, I have a feeling that the market wants to go lower, maybe a bit more before reversing. So this 4-hour low, 463, can be in play. Maybe this may be in play. So we'll see. And at least this will be taken out. So what I did today was I traded gold a little bit, you know, in I think early afternoon, I'd say. This the gold again, just very quickly, right? Going through it, the price action just today was phenomenal, right? It was so smooth. And the more I look at gold, the more I start to like it, right? That's why, you know, now I'm just gonna bring gold, silver in the mix in addition to the ES and NQ, and not looking at BTC. You know, it's just too much distraction, right? But let me just walk you through, guys, in the meantime. Oh, you know, we are actually already are in the macro. So let's just take it after the macro here. Oh, so I'm seeing this question from Justin about equilibrium FVG. So Justin, equilibrium FVG is really the first FVG in premium if the price is moving in bullish direction, and if the price is moving in bearish direction, it's the first FVG in discount. That's it. That's the equilibrium, because that is the FVG that is closest to the equilibrium, and that's what it is. All right, okay. So again, slow movement, but we'll see. So two things can happen, right? Now, in terms of the trades, one setup can happen wherein you know, it can go higher and then reverse, and then we sort of look at that to come here, engineer liquidity, or it may not give us an opportunity, and then immediately it can just come and start to purge, and then there can be a reversal signature, right, that we can see here. So those two options are on the table. I'm pretty open taking the trade in either direction, right, because we have a very clear construct here, which is plenty of liquidity here, right? So I'll be okay even taking the bearish trade if I see the right setup. Otherwise, I'm just going to look for a reversal if that presents itself during this macro, right? On the bullish side. So that's what I'm thinking right now. We'll see. Guys, hopefully y'all can hear me, right? I just want to make sure that everything is working correctly, audio-wise.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So as we are waiting and price isn't doing much. Let me just quickly do a quick walkthrough of the goal, right? The charts overall. So you see there is two things that are happening, right? So there was this liquidity earlier today, which was a daily low. Okay, so that context is very important. Right here, daily low, which was at 2654.2 level, right? The price was trading here before, and then there is also this engineered liquidity right here at 2644. Okay, and you see what happened. The price came here and then they just left it here, right? And that is again very typical of gold as well. Just like we see on the indices side, they engineered it. Now let me get to a 5 minute, and so basically this is what happened, and I'll tell you. And this was a beautiful trade. Same principle. So this was the dealing range I was looking at that point in time. You see, there was this engineer. This was a daily high, daily low that I drew. This engineered, and by that time, this wasn't purged. You see this line here. So again, there was this engineered liquidity here. Okay, so I'll tell you how the trade panned out. Engineered liquidity, at least the chart, right, right here. So it came from. So if you look at this range from here, high, which was the high that it made in the morning, to the low, which was here, right? This was the equilibrium line. So you see how it touched the equilibrium line. Okay. What was the equilibrium fair value gap? Since this fair value gap also had a part of it in premium, so this was a EQ fair value gap. Okay. And so the price went there. Now, what was the bias at that time? There, by the way, also just to mention, there was also an engineered liquidity here. This was yesterday's high, today's high, and this is again. So there is plenty of buy side here. Okay. So obviously, the one thing that when it gets to equilibrium with Fiji, you need to see where the price is heading, right? If the reversal has to happen, considering it traded so close and here, you want this to fail, right? Number one. So that's exactly what transpired. It started to fail, and right now, for most of the trading that I'm doing or looking at the charts, I have started to look at 5 minutes, right? Because this is giving me a little bit more better handle. I still have not been able to get to 1 minute. Okay, but 5 minute chart, this was the FVG equilibrium, hit the line, and from there on there was this quick drop. The other thing that I noted was this. You see all this consolidation here, the first level, and then there was this entire, right. So this was also, if you look at the way it works, right. So this was the second level, and then this quick down move, right. And so anyway, without really confusing you guys too much, what I meant to say was that delivered to the premium and then boom, right? And took this liquidity and the daily low, which was 2654. Okay. Now, where it's trading right now is 2644 is another engineered liquidity, right? As I was talking about this one. Um, engineered liquidity. You see how the two daily lows are sort of combined, and let me just make it clear so that you all can look at it. This is the level that I'm talking about, right? Engineered. So what can happen now? The question is, what can happen here, right? In GC here, this is 5 minutes. So what?
Vivek, on this, when it hit the equilibrium, do you consider that as an order block also there?
Oh, this is just an FVG, right? And after that, if I'm looking
No,
for
not when it comes there and it reverses in the other. Do you
yeah,
take that as an order block, or do you just
no,
consider that as a?
this is the order bearish order block after this candle,
Okay,
right?
so that does that get into play there?
Yeah,
Or
it
that
did,
okay,
right? It did absolutely.
okay, yeah,
Okay. So
okay.
now what I'm saying is there is an engineered liquidity here. Okay, so the price
Mm-hmm.
can drop here or it can go higher. Now, how do I draw the line in the sand? The line in the sand would be this. Okay, this if this gets inverted, on which is
Then
trying to
it's
go
bullish,
towards,
yeah.
then very likely again it will come and take this high. Okay, and these are the kind of journaling I'm doing right now, right? For
Mm-hmm.
gold in developing a trading model. Very likely it is going to take this high, 2666, right? And then it would be really whether it closes above that, that will increase the chance of taking this high, right? This, or if it start to reverse again, we may see a path which is something like we can see a path which is if it starts to reverse, we can see a path and then it can come all the way here. Okay, so but whatever is, I think we'll see a clear signature at these 2 points. One is this what it does here, and the other is what it does here, right? So that has really been the observation, and it's been very smooth, as I said, right? Whenever till the time I started to look at, I've been very, very motivated by studying the price action so far. And the other thing is, if you look at the dollar, okay, the dollar is actually come down quite a bit. You see, when the dollar is coming down, obviously it has taken a lot of liquidity, etc. So it has come down. So that definitely tells me that macro-wise, the gold, at least it takes this 2680, right? This level, all this engineered liquidity here. I mean, I'm just talking about this level, even if after that it has to reverse, right? Because this is a big candle right here. So these becomes two, candidates, right, for gold to take the high and then reverse. So we'll see. There's a lot out there, I know, but something I wanted to keep you guys updated about, the gold, what I'm seeing, and the price action has been very encouraging. All right, so okay, man, what a it's
Not going anywhere today.
not going anywhere, right? And that's the reason why sometimes when you know that for a week like NFP or for a week like a day before, GD,
FMI,
FOMC and all that,
yeah.
there's no fun trading the indices, and that's why I'm developing this one, right? Because you see today it's such a clean price action. I will trade this all day long, right, and not even look at indices. So at least this will give an extra sort of instrument for me to look at, and that's why I'm eager to sort of develop a trading model here, right? And it would come based on all the journal and entries and all that, and so we'll figure it out. But
This is very interesting, definitely interesting. Now, is that a 24 hours market, or does it have similar sessions as indices too?
yeah, just like everyone else, everything else, 23
Okay,
hours. Nothing is 24 hours, it's
okay.
23 hours.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And was
How
the entry on, sorry, was
Yeah,
the entry trigger on that one the same as on the one on the Nasdaq, in the sense that when it closed below the FVG and then retraced back to it, that was the trigger to get in?
yeah, no, it's pretty much the same. It's just that I'm looking on a 5 minute chart, and 5 minute chart is what I'm basing it on right now.
Sure.
But yeah, I think we have to just be mindful of the same things like in Nasdaq and ES, right?
Mhm.
And I'm also looking at silver hand in hand. You see, these are the two charts, gold and silver. I haven't been able to still get my arms around it, to be honest, about gold, silver, and all that stuff. But I'm still, so it's all WIP, right? Uh, in terms of how can I get some edge out of here, right? I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, so it's really gold and silver putting together is what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, 5 minute chart, so far so good, right? In terms of determining the.
And you're using the dollar for the inverse correlation as well. So you look,
Yes,
you got
yes.
your eye on both of them at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You got it. You got that right.
Right. Thank you.
So yeah, you see, this has been such a very slow moving stuff here. And so no setup as yet for this macro. Maybe we may see something now with some sort of a reversal. I don't want to take this out. It has come. So for now, let's see if this holds. This SMT, if this holds, right? Let's see. So if this becomes an inversion, then this again another signature that the price has a lot better, higher chance of just immediately taking this out, right, and be done with this. So we'll have to again wait. A market like this today, right? If I would have looked at this chart through the day, would have really, I would have burned a lot of energy mentally draining, right? Just nothing is happening other than one or two good setups here. So the SMT has held so far. Excuse me. And then this is an inversion. It's still not close. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a signature that can just get this and then be over with this, you know. And let's look at the ES on a 15-minute. So this is 6090, right? So this is obviously a clear liquidity pool. After that, we'll have to see what the price does. I won't be surprised if it digs a bit lower, but there is this fair value gap, right? As you all can see between here and here on this 15-minute. So it can trade in here, reverse, because if it doesn't reverse from here, from here till this low, there is no other inefficiency, right? So let's just go to a 5-minute, see if there is any here on a 5-minute, and there's really nothing out here, right? So then that would be a strong signal for price to come down even lower. Considering there's 50 minutes left, it just depends, but can be a playbook for tomorrow, and then we see some reversal of sorts, right? We can see the first session being the manipulation, start of the market, come here, and then a reversal, right? So, I mean, it can play out in so many ways. We'll have to see. But this 9-0 is something that is a clear magnet for now. Been there for a while, but just taken so much of time. Okay, so finally it's getting there. And so that's why, if this is the kind of a time when we should absolutely avoid to get into the trade, right? Up or down, when there's a clear liquidity pool, because it's only about just inviting yourself to getting chopped out, right, in both directions. Just like the way we did, right? Just stayed out, and then when you have a signature, then you go for it. But yeah, it's quite slow market. Pretty slow. Guys, any other questions? From anyone? Otherwise, we can just call it a day. Just not happening too much, and I think covered
That sounds good.
stuff.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, Vivek.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
Vivek.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vivek. You too.
Bye bye.